Now we get to dive into everyone's favorite part of template customization, that is the media library and swapping out your photos. In order to do that, we're going to start under the Site tab. It's the third option. It says Media Library right under Design Settings where we were last video. Click into the Media Library and this is going to bring up all of your images. If you're just starting out, you probably don't have any images in here, but that's okay. We can add them. You can drag and drop from your desktop. Showit is really good at handling multiple images at once, so feel free to drop in a ton at a time. You will see a little tab up here that says the kind of like load time and how far it's gotten along adding all of your images. Typically it's very quick, maybe a minute or so max. You also can upload files down here in the bottom left hand corner by clicking upload files, and then you can browse your computer for files. Whenever possible, you want to upload JPEG images. This is because Showit is going to automatically optimize those images for web. For things like PNGs that need transparent backgrounds, maybe your logo files, you just want to be cautious of the size and the way that you're using them. For example, if you wanted to say this was your logo and you wanted to upload this, you would need this to be a PNG so that it has a transparent background. But this size that it's being used is probably only like 200 pixels by maybe 50 or 100 pixels. You wouldn't want to upload something that's 2,000 pixels by 1,000 pixels, just because Showit's going to load that entire image even though it's still displaying it at that small size. Just be cautious of that when you are uploading PNG images. I know sometimes that those logo files can be quite large. Going back to the media library, you can organize your content into folders. This is really helpful. You can see we have a ton of different folders in here: textures, stock photos, different types of shoots. So if you go to add a new folder here, you can name your folder, click on add, and then you see these little check marks here. When you hover over a photo, select all the photos you'd like to add to the folder and then click move to folder, and you'll be able to select it from the list. I highly recommend just keeping your content organized, because once you get a lot of media in here, it just makes it quicker and your process of swapping out images go a lot smoother. You also can upload videos to your media library, but there are some limitations. In order to use videos, they have to be used as canvas backgrounds. If you want to use a video not as a canvas background, if you want it to be longer or have sound, you can do a YouTube or a Vimeo embed. But if you want something as a canvas background, it has to be under 8 megabytes, which is a very small video file with no sound, and then you'll be able to upload it in here just like you would a photo. Now let's talk about replacing our images. I'm going to close out of here and kind of just start on the homepage. So going to the desktop version, let's start here on this canvas. This is a standard photo. You'll notice when I click on it, my smart panel shows me I can swap the image. If I click on swap image, it will bring up the media library. I also can double click on an image to bring up the media library and then select a new one to replace it. When I replace the image, if I don't love the way that it is being styled, I have some options over here. It might not be split between desktop and mobile. That's a place where you would want to kind of bring up both and just check to see how it's looking. This one, it is split, so I can adjust the kind of cropping and the way that this image is displayed without having to actually adjust the box itself. If I change from fill to scale, then I have the option to kind of zoom in, and then I can be a little bit more flexible with how the image is displayed within the bounding box. You'll notice as I'm changing it here, it is not changing it the same way on the mobile. That's because it's split. If I did want it to change the same way, then I would click on those 3 little dots there and then merge using desktop or mobile. Still using the homepage as an example, as I scroll down, you'll see that this testimonial section has a texture or an image in the background. I'll show you how to do that. If you go to the canvas, I haven't selected an element. If I click on page, you can see that we are on the testimonial canvas and no elements are selected. I'll go to canvas and then canvas background, and here it works the same way. I can click on here to bring up the media library and select a new canvas background. I also have some additional properties here, the way I can position it, whether I want the image to be displayed in the middle, if I want the opacity higher or lower. If I bring up the opacity, we see more of it, and then I can choose the color underneath as well. That will give you different effects. And then when we preview this image, because it's a canvas background, we have some layering effects here. So same thing with this hero canvas, you'll notice that the image stays put and everything else scrolls over it. Same thing with this canvas here in the background. The one that we were working on was the testimonial canvas. When I scroll down, you'll see how it stays put. That's because the background image is set to fixed. If I chose parallax, it would scroll, but it would scroll a lot slower than the things on top, still giving it a layered effect. And then and then scroll with page is just like these white canvas backgrounds here. where there's no layered effect. So you can play around with those, and depending on your images, some look better than others. If you need to split the desktop and the background image, if you need to split the background image for desktop and mobile, you do that same as always by clicking the 3 little dots that appear when you hover over this section. Click here and then click on split mobile and desktop, and then you can choose a different photo to display for the canvas background on the mobile version. This is really helpful. Sometimes photos look great horizontally on a site, but they look a little awkward or aren't displaying properly in a vertical setting. So that's a really handy option to be able to swap out a different cut or a different style of the image. So those are canvas backgrounds and static images. We also have galleries. So if you go to site, you have a page titled gallery. These are different gallery options all on a single page. So you can test out what works best for you. If you want to include them, you'll see the different types are here. And then if you go to the actual page, you can just delete this block here with the instructions. But right here is a tiled gallery. It will expand with your different content. You can add all kinds of images to this. If I click on the gallery and I go to gallery images, here is where I can manage the images. I click manage image. It's going to bring up the media library for me again. And then I'll just click the check mark in the top corner here and move them to the media library by clicking this arrow. I can reorder them by dragging the images around, or I even can delete images out of the gallery. The next gallery that we have is a carousel gallery, and you can play with the options on here to display the dots and adjust some of the properties here. So if we click on the gallery, again, the manage images is the same, but if we go to gallery settings, you can see I can display the dots, what color they are, if I want it to auto advance the images or not. You can play around with the space between images. It just really depends on your photo and the style of your site. Next, we have a slideshow gallery. This is a kind of like full screen option, and these buttons, previous and next, control the gallery if you don't want it to auto advance, or if you even have it on auto advance, someone can click through to view the different images kind of in a widescreen format. If you look over on the mobile version, you can see how it looks on these different canvases as well. Feel free to use these galleries. You can copy and paste them onto other canvases if you'd like, or you can just use the entire gallery page and pick 1 or 2 styles that work for you. And next we have an Instagram footer down here. So if I edit this navigation and I edit the footer, right here is connected to an Instagram account, or it can be connected to an Instagram account. When I click on it, it kind of operates like a gallery. I have some settings here where I can control how it displays, and then I also can choose an Instagram account. If you haven't connected your Instagram account before, you'll just go through their setup process. It'll say like add an account, and you can authenticate your Instagram with Showit, and then on your live website, it will display your most recent posts. I always recommend that you set some fallback images, and that is something that will display if for some reason Showit loses connection with your Instagram. These are our fallback images in this example. You'll just go to the second tab here and choose the images that you would like, and this works the same as a gallery. So manage images, select them from the gallery, reorder them if you'd like. In order to add a video background, I'm just going to use this location canvas as an example. Right now it's set to an image. If I wanted to include a video, I would switch it from image to video, and that's going to change it on both desktop and mobile because it's not split. And then I can choose a video from the media library. Of course, there are no videos in here for us right now, but if I did have a video, I would be able to select it. And then kind of like the Instagram, you want to set a fallback image. If for some reason Showit can't load the entire video, this is the image that will display instead. This isn't super common, but it's just nice to have something so that the interaction with a visitor is seamless and it doesn't seem like there's an error or anything.